You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Of course, on the scene for the first time, just like Mac Leftwich, as we're rolling into 2025. And Coach Wood recently asked about some of those guys up front. But overall, really the newcomers in general that have been added to his side of the ball. Here's defensive coordinator Shiel Wood.
We haven't missed a beat with anything since the day I got on campus. It's just been one team, one heartbeat. That's what I've witnessed. I think everybody's new to me, but from a guy walking in here in December, and then we start the semester off back in January and roll through the spring and summer and into fall camp. These guys have been a team, and whether it's returning guys, I do think that they've done a great job of embracing all the new players that we have, freshmen, transfers, whatever the case may be. But I would, if you didn't tell me that some of our new players that were transfers were actually transfers coming in, I wouldn't know, because they just look like they've been a part of the culture and have assimilated really well. And I think that speaks to their character, speaks to how our guys that have been here before have welcomed them with open arms. And they've just all been about football, doing the best that they can do to be the best that they can be, great attitudes, great work ethic, and that's been fun to be a part of.
I might take a guess, Chris. Some of that may have to do with some of the seasoning and age on these guys you brought in. I mean, we've talked about a ton trying to find the right profile of guy, and probably that part's helped a little bit with kind of like he talks about the acclimation, I guess.
And when we touched on this a little bit last week, there's always a portion of a guy's career where it kind of like he starts to see what the end looks like and how seriously they need to take it if you're trying to play at the next level. Well, you brought in a lot of guys that I think you've already vetted that are in that phase or have already transitioned into that phase. And I think that in credit to like the Jacob Rodriguez's and the Ben Roberts's and the John Curry's and the Mo Horns and all of those defensive line guys that were here last year for like welcoming in that group, and credit to Coach Wood, because I think that he's been able to mesh it all together and they're deep. I think he's just turned these guys loose, and I think people are going to like they may in fact like this defense or be able to root for them quite a bit. And shockingly, sarcasm here, this defense may win you a game or four this year.
I'll take 10.
I know. Well, that too. Yeah, I memean, they're going to be a significant reason why you are really good this year, and it's a bit of a first around here.
10-2, and we're winning them all 7-6. And if you complain, I swear to God, I'm coming for you. Banned, blocked, ejected from the Locked On Texas Tech fam family if that happens. Can you imagine, Chris, a season dominated by a defense, not for worse, but for better? Because we've had storylines that have been dominated by defenses like, damn, how do we keep losing games? We're scoring 45. But hopefully that's not going to be the case here, yet still pairing some 45-point efforts with some of that tremendous, hopefully, defensive impact. All right, before we get out of here, Chris, it's been First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly feel the call of the stadium. That's exactly where Gametime comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. And with the money you save on tickets, you can then splurge on foods, drinks, gear, and more. Gametime makes it all possible. And best of all, Gametime makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get the first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And if you're like me, you get tired of endless scrolling trying to find the best deal, and that's why Gametime's Zone Deals is the go-to move, since it automatically picks the best seats in your section for you at the best price. And as always, you can get a view from your seat right there in the app, so before you buy, you know exactly what you're going to see. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last-minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. Couple of days, Red Raiders near and far have had to process this, and since we last convened, we have not had a chance to actually discuss it, but of course I got to put it to you and see how you're feeling about what was rolled out to wrap up last week in the form of some new fall fashion. If you haven't seen it just yet, I'll throw it up on the screen for those watching on YouTube, but it is a take on a 100-year anniversary edition of a Texas Tech football uniform. And Chris, it's getting 5 stars from me and probably some cash as well from my family. How'd you like them?
Yeah, I mean, Barron first hinted at this at Big 12 Media Days, and I guess that was in Frisco when he was like, yeah, we've got a throwback. It's kind of a 100-year thing. And so that's when everybody kind of, and we've been asked about uniforms, and I just kind of like would smile because I knew something was coming down the pike. And these look great. I mean, it pulls a little bit from different eras and kind of meshes it together. It's clearly like a tip of the cap to like your football program, and very much a throwback with an old double T, some stars on the helmets that they used. I think it was in the 70s, and just a nice clean look. And it seems like it's been overwhelmingly positive have been the reactions there. And you're right, like to Calvin's point, as you said, there's a whole line of product out there now, not just jerseys, but hats, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and all that. But Adidas did this for Kansas, Mississippi State, South Carolina. I'm trying to make all the different teams that had kind of a throwback, and this was Tech's version of it, but it came out, I guess, Thursday night, and it looks great. I mean, you're going to wear these against Kansas, I believe, in October at home, and yeah, I hope they kind of keep this thing around because it looks awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. For simplicity's sake, finally, we're putting something out there, and I know that there is a multi-color stripe down the pant, so let's just not think about that when we're thinking simplicity. But nonetheless, we got back to a double T that I never thought I'd see us get back to, Chris. I have for a long time wanted to return to the double T and do away with the 3D beveled version, which, by the way, one has made an appearance on a practice field if you hadn't seen that, so look out. But this is even a little further back. I think the last time I saw a team utilizing this double T where the smaller one's not actually even inset, it's just one solid piece, was on a Texas Tech baseball uniform, like maybe 80s or 90s. I mean, it's been a while. But I thought it was really cool that they brought that one back. And the shoulder patch, as it relates to what used to be on the front of a Texas Tech football uniform 100 years ago, just as good as it gets. And I'm getting big-time Mean Machine vibes. And I'm talking the original longest yard look. You know what I'm saying? I've loved that forever. So I'm glad we're embracing that as well.
I love that. The Mean Machine. That's
hopefully some of that personality, by the way, too.
No doubt. Minus all the committed crimes that some of those guys,
the roundhouse kicks and the assault.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, no, I'm here for uniform talk anytime. I know fans love it, and you had I also think there's a chance you could still see those galvanized, the Pat Mahomes uniforms again at some point this year. I don't know when that would be, if it's home or away or whatever, but I think that'll be kind of a thing. But yeah, this is they've already announced that this will be worn in the Kansas game. So get your tickets now and go buy your replica jersey out there at various outlets.
I know many will. I can hear the registers ringing already all over the place. So well done by Adidas and those who contributed to that. And
Zane Perry. Yeah, Zane Perry, man. That's he's the GOAT, man. He's heavily involved. Him and Kamen, your equipment guys. But yeah, I think Zane's just he doesn't get near the credit he deserves for just kind of how all that comes to be and the thought process and putting it all together and kind of researching from years gone by and finding stuff like, okay, and then presenting it to Adidas, and they kind of, or Under Armour used to be, because all the throwbacks in the various eras have all been so legit. I've loved every version of what we've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, and this kind of a new concoction, like a throwback as a new look in a way, is sort of cool to think about. I would just always thought it was sort of ironic. Under Armour, to me's best look they gave us was one we already had like 30 years before they existed as a company. But nonetheless, those days are over. So we're trending in the right direction. We've thrown it back, but with a totally new creation that I think has generally been very, very well received, which is always noteworthy because that's rarely the case when we're talking fall fashion. All right, Chris, thank you for strapping on your fashion hat for just a moment. We got to get out of here. We're out of time. I appreciate yours as always. enjoyed it, man, and looking forward to the next one. We'll see you then.
We're inside 2 weeks, people. We
Yes,
got
sir.
a big kickoff luncheon coming up this week. We've got you got football coming up this weekend. The Big 12 games, 3 Big 12 teams will be in action. So yeah, not long now, but and thank you for subscribing out there to all the folks that I met. My man Eric at the grocery store over the weekend that listens to you and I. So shout out to Eric. Appreciate him saying hello, and we'll talk to everybody next time. Keep hope alive.
Come on, E, let's go. Join up, saddle up. Let's ride. It's going to be a wild one. I think we're already to a point where now we will not have a college football or basketball less weekend until April of 2026. So let's strap in, buckle up. There'll be ups, there'll be downs, but we'll be here along the way. There's no question about that. All right, Chris, thank you. And thank you all out there for joining us. Once again, get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thanks to the Everydayers for always riding along. And hit the show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial if you're interested in becoming a member of the Matador Mob. That's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.